Hey everybody, this is Calvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. What a weekend. Seriously, it was quite a night last night with Bitcoin and the shenanigans and everything. So it was interesting. My last video, I was talking about this this candle here, and I was like, well, we should have a few days of upside because of this, and we only got one. It was pretty weak. We rejected off of the 20, and now we're heading back down. So this is essentially one move still. We're still looking for a bottoming candle. Earlier, when our close was much higher, when our candle was much higher, this would have been unbelievable. We still have 5.5 hours left, though. If we can get as high as possible on this bar, we have a really nice tail already. So it would be really nice to get up higher. This would be an amazing reversal candle if we could just get up there. But yeah, pretty brutal. We're in a pretty rough spot here. We've just got lots of support hits on the same level, and if we close on or below this line, it could get ugly. So there's no sugarcoating that. But if we can close up higher up here, it actually might be the reversal that we need. We're essentially in a sideways pattern, but a lot of people are looking at this thinking that it's sort of a head and shoulders, pretty ugly looking one. But yeah, if we have a close at or below here, it's not going to look good. But we'll have to see how it plays. As far as Ethereum, we're actually looking pretty good. This is kind of what we were after. When you have a long downward trend and then you find a doji at the bottom, that's usually the reversal that we need. So Ethereum just might be there. I'm not sure about Bitcoin, but the other thing going for Ethereum is look how we touched the 200-week moving average. So the 200-week moving average right here is 1277. Our day's low is 1280. So $3 difference is really close. But technically you can't really look at a 20-day or a 20-week moving average when the week hasn't completed. So if I go over to the weekly chart, currently, so it'll fluctuate a little bit depending on this final bar, but with 20 data points, this last bar is not going to change too much. And the 20-week is at 1283. So our low of 1280 actually does touch it. It barely went through it. So we might have what we need on the weekly for Ethereum. I cannot promise anything, but we've got 6 more days, but if we can bounce as high as possible off of this, it would actually be very helpful. And honestly, we don't even have to bounce high. If we stayed in a tight range and this doji was exactly what we ended up with, it would be perfect. So, but yeah, we've had a lot of downs going on. If Ethereum drops down to 1078 again, we could have a third leg on this thing, but not guaranteed. I mean, from an Elliott wave perspective, a bullish trend, it just needs three waves. I don't know if this is it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 total, but three upward moving waves, and then 2 downward. So I'm not sure if 1, 2 is it, but with this last breakdown, I'm not sure. We may have a little bit of work to do. So anyway, very, very interesting. Bitcoin's weekly chart still threatening a little bit of a descending triangle. So I don't know if this is going to hold up or not. There's a lot of talk about a Wyckoff accumulation phase, and what that means is that there's this whales will accumulate, and they'll try to scare people out of their position. And one of the tactics they have is to drop prices below a major support line, which they've kind of done on the weekly. This right here is sort of it, because on the weekly, our line's up here at 19,350, and this move below is pretty much, it could flush out the rest of the bears and change direction. But yeah, it's just a lot of question marks right now about this chart. So it could be interesting to see how things play out. But this is very strong. If we can close around here and retain our support off of the 200, that would be a really good thing. The other thing to look at too is that our low on Ethereum at 1280, look at the highs on these wicks, 1281 and 1276. So these wicks did have an intersection with our low here. So our resistance has technically flipped to support right here. So we have a technical support. We also have a technical support off the 200. Ethereum is ripe for a flip if we can either have a green bar or have a doji where we close really close to the current price level. And but it's just interesting. It just feels like whichever chart is weaker between Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's pulling the other one down, and then they take turns. So Bitcoin was looking a little stronger, and then Ethereum pulled it down, and then Ethereum is looking stronger today, and I hope that Bitcoin doesn't pull Ethereum off of its balance. But we've had a pretty decent drop. This move from our close to current price action is a 15% drop. That's pretty significant move for Bitcoin. So it wouldn't be unusual for us to see another leg up. I'm not sure how high or anything, but there has been a significant downward movement for the past week. This is only 7 days of price action here. So yeah, pretty wild. It was pretty unbelievable just kind of watching price action dropping. The one thing is that you can kind of plan for a lot of things, but there are times, so this is the 5-minute chart, there are times when you can't really prevent some things. Yeah, so we're kind of floating along, minding our own business. Yes, the trend was down, but when you drop 2.65% on Bitcoin in a 5-minute bar, there are whales at play, and there's not a lot you can do about that. These things can happen without warning, and they just happen quite suddenly. But this is a whale taking advantage of a little bit of weakness, so they're just trying to scare people out of their positions. From a structure standpoint of view, I actually wanted to look at this this chart with you guys. See how this is a 5-minute chart, and this is sort of the pattern that we're looking for on the daily. Exiting a red zone, finding support off of the 50, breaking through the 100, support off of the 20, testing and breaking through the 200, and then reaching nice highs, and then we enter a green zone. So this is kind of the pattern we're looking for when the market finally does turn around. And then when you flip from green to yellow, that's when you either go short, or at least there's some downside period going on. So This is sort of the pattern we would see. If there was a continuation, we would have a close above the 50, we'd enter a white zone, and then we'd go for another green zone. But we would hold a short position in the meantime while this is playing out. So on a 5-minute time scale, this is sort of the pattern we're looking for on the daily. If we can get, if we can get the market to behave the way we would expect. But yeah, I mean, see how we've exited red zones all through on the 5-minute? So there are plenty of fake outs that happen before the real move that brings us to the green zone happens. So flipping back to daily, we've had a couple of fake outs, but at some point we're going to break out of the red zone and it will go to a green zone. And that's where all of our patience will pay off. So there was something I was reading this morning, and I think they summarized it really well. I'm just going to read this tidbit. It says, bear markets are brutal, painful. We're clearly still in one. It's all about survival. It's not just raw losses that hurt. It's the grueling slog. It's bear market rallies that you hope will turn into another bull run, or at least end the pain. But deep down, you know that this probably isn't over. And then you wake up one day and the bloodbath starts up again. Bear markets are the reason your buddy who told you about Ethereum at $10 isn't driving around in a Ferrari. They make you question everything. They squeeze out weakness. You need very strong conviction to survive. And so this is the challenge of trading. It's knowing what you have and believing in it and being able to handle the ups and downs. And from a risk perspective, not putting yourself in a position where a single trade takes you out of the game. Keeping that risk managed to the point where you can handle some of these things. So one thing I like to do as a litmus test is if you're losing sleep, your position size is too big. If you're having a hard time, if you're stressed about the market, your trades are too large. When they're much smaller, the losses are much more digestible, and the wins are still just as fun. And in fact, if the risk is managed properly, you can actually be quite profitable when things go your way, even without a huge position size. So there's a lot of things, and that's kind of what we're working through on the Pro channel, is talking about what to do when things go wrong, and kind of being able to handle the challenging side of trading. So we're going to see what happens. We don't have a close below our bottom support yet, but I mean, this was a pretty scary candle. A low of 18,255 in the middle of the night on a Sunday when markets are closed. It's the Asian market has not opened at midnight my time, and everyone's it's late. Like this is a perfect point of weakness. So this all dropped late last night when nobody was trading. So these whales, they really try to find places to find liquidation points or show some weakness. When the market woke up this morning, we pulled up back above these supports just fine. But man, there's a lot of challenges out here, and yeah, we'll have to see where this closes, but I just have a feeling that we're probably going to close pretty high. If we can close anywhere up here, this will be so bullish because of how long this tail is. It would just be really, really strong. So there are things that are unavoidable. One of the coins that I wanted to point out last night that I saw was SNX. I think that's not it. It was KNC, that's right. Yeah, this is crazy. So this is something that you cannot avoid as a trader. All you can do is manage your risk and your portfolio size, because there are things that, like everything about this is bullish. We have a beautiful channel. Everything's going well. We're above the 100, we're above the 50, we're above the 20. Everything looks great. and your day's close looks like this. Like there's nothing to worry about. You're finding support off of a prior resistance. Like everything is bullish. Everything's looking great. And then somehow in the middle of the night, you just have this massive 25% drop. Worst case, it was even worse. But you didn't do anything wrong as a trader. You didn't do anything wrong. There's no like beating yourself up about manipulation like this. You just have to chalk it up. Because look at this on a 5-minute chart. Like in a matter of an hour, prices just completely plummeted out of nowhere. There was no indication. There was no reason for it. And look at the volumes here. So it was just a late night when nobody's watching the market, and whales just start dumping and changing the complete outlook of a coin. And so you just have to roll with it. You know, being diversified helps a little, but there are just times when things hit you. You just have to have the right position size, and you have to have kind of things in the right place, because sometimes you just have to roll with it. Sometimes you get punched straight in the face and there's nothing you can do about it. But you know, long term, you know, we're looking at being able to handle this long term and watch out for some things. There's some really good looking charts, even with the problems. I mean, a couple of surprises for me was ApeCoin is actually getting really, really tight. Even with the drop yesterday, we bounced really hard today, and we're snuggled up against the 50. There's a lot of good things going on here. XRP is still, you know, it was running really well early yesterday, but then dropped a bit. But we still managed to stay above the 50, and we're looking quite strong right now. Atom's another one that got hit with the rest of the market, but we're starting to recapture the 200. We'll see where this closes. So there are coins that are doing pretty well. Yeah, there's some pretty good things. Our Anchor, it dropped pretty hard with everything, but it had quite a run earlier today, and we'll see where it ends up closing in 5 hours. But I think some of the downward momentum is starting to wane on this, and it'll probably start leveling off. We might find ourselves a good trade there. So there's a lot of good things happening. We just have to be in a place where we don't get liquidated or scared out of the market, and just managing risk and being smart with your trades is kind of the name of the game right now. But yeah, it should be interesting. There's a lot going on, lots of emotions. And whales love this stuff. They just live for this. They cause a lot of emotion just so they can figure out where the weakness is in the retail market, where it lies, and they take advantage of it. So we just want to be in a place where that isn't going to impact us. So anyway, it'll be cool. We'll go over this all in detail tonight on the Pro channel. So I look forward to talking to everyone later. And we will catch you all tomorrow. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.